Franklin D. Roosevelt once said that happiness is not in the mere possession of money. It lies in the joy of achievement, in the thrill of creative effort, and of course, hitting one-outers on the river.
Oh my gosh, 7.5 million pot. Biggest pot of the tournament.
Playing for $1.26 million.
A one-outer. You have 4% remaining going to the river.
That's incredible. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's broadcast. We're on day 2 of event number 3, the $64,000 No Limit Hold'em event. We're here live from Landing Casino Jeju Shinhwa World. Me and Randy Nanonoko live in Korea.
Yeah, this is fun to do this with you, Lex. We're going to be streaming a bunch more. The stakes have gotten bigger and bigger. The next event is actually going to be $1 million Hong Kong dollar short deck ante-only event. I believe Jason Kuhn won that last time for a lot of money. And then the main event is 2 million Hong Kong dollars. That's 4x the buy-in of this event. And don't forget, that's also unlimited re-entry. And play is going to be underway soon. 23 players, 81 total entries. This has been a big improvement. This is more than double last year. So goes to show how big the Triton Super High Roller Series is getting.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are also hearing from their friends playing the circuit, like how relaxed everything is here and how good the games are, and you know, if you can play for some high stakes and have a really good time.
Welcome back to the coverage here in Jeju. It's day 4, and that means that today is the final day of the 500k No Limit Hold'em 6-handed event. We've got 23 players left in the tournament, and it's quite a stacked field once more. We have the likes of Eric Seidel, Nick Petrangelo, Mr. Paul Foy, and of course, Triton ambassador Jason Kuhn. I think you're going to be in for a lovely day of poker. There's going to be some great play at the tables, and I'll be giving you a few reports from out here in the field. But I think it's best now I hand you over to the lovely commentary team, Mr. Lex Veldhouse and Randy Liu. Take it away.
Thanks to Peter. So, yeah, we do have 2 featured tables as usual. A special 2 to Triton Super High Roller Series. We're going to go back and forth. And it looks like we're going to have some coverage from the outer tables, thanks to Peter. And let's take a look at our 2 featured tables. Timothy Adams is the chip leader of blue table, and the red table is Wai Long Chan. Seems to always do well in these no-limit fields. Jason Kuhn, Seth Davies, Ivan Liao, that's my personal favorite. I think he's just amazing, fun player to watch.
Yeah, he just makes commentating very easy too, because he talks a lot. He talks. He talks when he finishes a hand. He kind of trash talks his friends when they finish a hand. He always has a comment to say, and you just never know what's going to happen with the guy. Yeah,
this is pretty cool. Over on the red table, we got Sam Greenwood. He's definitely one of the best in the game. A new face to the Triton Super High Roller Series that I'm aware of is Matthias Eibinger. He's sitting in 3rd on the red table.
Yeah, always good to see some new faces. You know, everybody that shows up here, sometimes all of a sudden you see a familiar face that you haven't seen for a long time in Robert Flink, and then at the same time there's all these guys who are just out there grinding and all of a sudden get to this platform. So really cool.
Yeah, and this is one of the outer tables. So Ling Shu's got 1 million chips. Stanley Choi. We're familiar with Xiang from event number 1. Eric Seidel, of course, he's been around a long time. And Steven Chidwick, he's the table short stack at this outer table.
Look at that shirt.
Yeah, I know, it's so bling.
Damn.
And this is the last table to see. Michael Soiza is the chip leader of the tournament. Massive chip lead, 1.776 million. Second place only has 1.18 million, so he's doing very well. This looks like a pretty cool table. Robert Flink, Peter Jen, Bryn Kenny, Petrangelo, and Hecklin.
Yeah, we saw some awesome poker yesterday from Hecklin and Flink. It's cool to see that they're going to battle at the same table again. And I'm sure they'll be popping by on the feature table as well. And you know you have a lot of chips when you need the floor to help you stack.
It's like, Michael, I'm going to help you stack these because we need to get play underway shortly. Now, a reminder, this is a big blind ante tournament. Definitely a trend that's been set for the especially high rollers. It speeds up the play. All the players want to play more hands. We got a shot clock as well, a 30-second shot clock. And each time bank chip is those yellow plaques is worth additional 30 seconds. So, you know, if you tend to be a slower player and use these time bank chips, it could be some problems when you get to the final table. Could come into effect for some of these players.
Yeah, I mean, especially in these series when there's so much action, I think that there's definitely more aggressive action in the Triton series than anywhere else. And people put each other to the test, so that means you're going to need some time bank chips as well.
Yeah, you know how like some tournaments, like the field, they just kind of play straightforward, like you know where you're at every single time. These guys, we've seen them in the previous events do some blocker shoves and stuff like this, and you're just going to need like 5 minutes, and you just don't have 5 minutes. So play is underway soon.
And I love this table that we're seeing here. We see Ivan Leao, Timothy Adams, Jason Kuhn, Seth Davies yesterday played some big pots as well. And then Bay, of course, was the action generator everywhere, making some big re-raises, some really massive post-flop bluffs as well. None of these guys will shy away from a fight, so I think we're going to see a lot of big pots today.
Yeah, Timothy Adams, one of the best players in the game. We did not see him in Jeju last year. We didn't see him in Montenegro, but here he knows he's missing on action, so and he's doing well. He is currently second place in the tournament.
Very nice guy, very solid player. Actually, solid is such a big compliment in poker, but it still doesn't do him enough justice. He's really incredible at No Limit Hold'em.
Seth Davies, he is pretty good. From what I saw the other day, he definitely knows what he's doing. And this guy's good at building a square with his time bank chips. Jason Kuhn. Definitely one of the friendliest guys in there that is one of the best in the game as well. It's a good combination to have for these high stakes. Bay, he was a very big stack, was a chip leader majority of day one, had a bad end of day one, but still in there.
Too sloppy.
You know, sometimes when there's a break in a fight or something, somebody will come better out of the break. I think it's really good for Bay that there was a break yesterday because things were really turning poorly for him.
Ivan Leal, this man, he doesn't like to be a short stack, but you know he knows his spot, right? He's very aggressive, and sometimes he just slows down, but everyone thinks he's still on the gas, and he can really get paid off when he needs to. There's Paul Fall also at the table. There he is.
Are we gonna play a TV cash game this week? No?
Today is the 6th or 5th.
I have no idea.
今日冇。
Fifth. Tomorrow? All right.
Maybe tonight is. Oh, tonight. 可能打唔到啊，因為一張你要行100萬嘅。
A little tease, huh?
行final table，你都冇咁多 feature table。
Let's get to the action. Adams on the dealer button.
因為啲人得一
Oh, I
張，
was thinking I had a
即
lot
係
of
一張
chips.
100萬嘅同埋200萬咩嘢
Ace 3.
This is gonna move quicker than I thought. Just like I thought I had a lot of big blinds. I don't. So nobody else does either if I'm in third.
These guys are all about 50, 60 big blinds deep, so that's why I see Adams bump it up a little bit bigger from the button.
Yep. Davies got ace
Alright,
queen in a
fold.
small blind. He's going 3-bet. Davies going to take down the first pot.
Yeah, really can't do much there. 50 big blinds deep, it's too deep to try and make Bluff shove there with ace-3. It's really hard to call because you're offsuited. It's just it's definitely a really good stealing hand, but once you face aggression, your hand doesn't look that great anymore.
唔戴帽啊！呢張牌真係唔錯得，咁唔戴眼唔戴帽啊！
好光啊！
好光，眼好痛啊！
Yeah。平時慣都唔見得光啦。到咗啊！
哦，你做咁少咋？
嗯。
細波唔准咁樣講嘢㗎，人哋好傷心㗎，人哋尋日值好多㗎。
Very nice to see Paul Fo at the table. Lots of energy, always smiles, win and defeat. That's how I like to see it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I need it a few more times.
All right.
But also in good spirits always.
I like how no one at the Triton Super High Roller Series just like super rude or anything, you know, like everyone's very friendly.
Well, I think you can compare it to the dynamic. Like we keep referring to home games, but that's the way it is. Like if you play with a group of friends and there's one friend who consistently gets angry and salty, then the rest of the guys don't really want him there anymore, because it's also about having fun and it ruins the atmosphere. And you see that here too. And I think that most of these guys are good-natured, and even if there's sometimes something happening you're not too happy with, you just kind of keep it in because you kind of realize there's something special going on. And you want to keep playing, of course.
Of course.
And, you know, a lot of these guys also play cash games together, so in high-stakes cash games around the world, it's usually, you know, you have to... It's okay if you're good, as long as you're fun to play with. And as long as you're respectful to people, nice to talk to, that goes a long way.
No need.
You know, this is the 4th day of our broadcast. You've seen a lot of new faces. I'm pretty sure you're going to see even more faces tomorrow, or actually later today after this finishes, because the $1 million short deck event that tends to bring out a lot of these short deck specialists and just players who just want to play for big stakes.
Yeah.
You know, these stakes might be too small for them, so that'll be a fun one to watch.
Yeah. You get out of here.
It's funny, even after casting this game for half a day yesterday, I still saw 7-6 suited under the gun and I thought in my head, trash. Oh no, wait, different game.
All these days are so long.
Ace King for Bay. He's got 22 big blinds all in. I like it.
At least get a couple day off. Yeah, it's sicker than televised cash game. That'd be a fun swap. If I do short deck,
A few more of those indeed.
probably 2K.
推出嚟嘅樣有信心。Huh?
Yeah.
The other table. Not TV table.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. It's been real. You guys have fun now.
Do your best.
You hear?
High roller feels usually reasonably small, so lots of table balancing, of
Iowa
course.
Tim. Have fun out here.
Nope. Nope.
Raise to 35.
Right, Bay definitely has a little bit more room in his stack. Start raising a little bit. I have a layout here on 25 big blinds.
15 seconds.
Of course, we're playing 8,000, 16,000 with a 16,000 big blind ante.
3.
Ivan just approaches all of these spots very aggressively. Every single time we see him have a hand that he wants to play, when it's late position versus late position, he just comes in with action. And I mean, he gets an ace to fold with Queen Jack, which is really nice.
Hi.
I'm good, thank you.
Can I get just an iced coffee with a little bit of cream?
Iced coffee with cream.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else?
I got it.
In my shoes. Yeah, I busted him.
Quick bust.
All the chips.
So battle of the blinds. Davies is going to take a flop. Try to take a flop with 9-3 offsuit. When you have that really good player image, like you can limp these hands and they're just going to check it back, thinking that, well, look at this, flop 2 pair, but Kuhn doesn't have anything. The question is, do you want to bet out here, or do you want to check and try to induce a bet from the big blind? I like to check. I feel like you block a lot of pairs, and your opponent has any 2 cards anyways.
Yeah, you're pretty much assuming, all right, my opponent has a gut shot or a queen.
Turn is a 7. Checks again.
He was planning to go for a check raise.
So I think at this point, Davies is probably thinking that his opponent is pretty happy to show down his hand, given how quickly he's checking. He hasn't stabbed a flop or turn. He's decided, should he go for some value now? I like the bet, even though it might get called. There's a chance.
I agree, yeah. I think you make a really good point that on the turn, it's a really good card for Kuhn to get rid of some high card hands.
You know, just because you didn't win any extra chips when you make a big hand doesn't mean you played it wrong by any means. Hope you guys are enjoying the Triton Super High Roller Series broadcast. Be sure to follow the channel. They've got social media as well. Ivan is first to act, King 4 suited. He's like, I'm very tempted to raise.
I like that little mini sweat that we have every time to see if there's going to be action like that, you know?
Yeah. Davies 10-7. He's going to respect his opponents in the blinds.
All in. All in.
All in from Bay. Ace-7.
That is 3. 3 plus 3, 4, 3, 5 plus.
Jason Kuhn of pocket 4s.
I was supposed to just shove here.
Yeah.
But you had more than that.
Yeah, Jason is already saying like, oh, maybe I should have just shoved to avoid this decision.
He doesn't get away, so he is ahead slightly. They got in the chips anyways.
Yeah, oh for sure, yeah, that's true.
Well, you know, if Jason Kuhn shoved, I don't think Bay was going to fold. It's a flop. Oh, ace on the turn. I was excited.
That's so funny.
3 4 3 3 7 3
You can tell that Bay and Ivan and Paul Fall play a lot with each other. It's always chatting every single hand.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Jason Kuhn is going to send about 380,000 chips over. I do think that if he had shoved, Bay would have called off anyways.
Yeah, there's no question.
我邊度揸佢？真係你有乜救命㗎？你呢隻？
So as we said earlier, we are playing to a winner today. The bubble will be 10th place. 9th place will be our first cash, $143,000 for that. So a little bit more than double the buy-in. First place prize, close to $1.5 million.
Yeah, second place is also going to get $1 million.
Wow.
So 2 players will get $1 million. And then in the future events, it's going to be multiple players getting $1 million at least. This is a 6-max tournament, so it won't be the final 9 making a final table. King, Queen, Paul Foy. Gonna open it up. Davies in the cutoff Jack 10 offsuit. It's not quite the same hand as short deck, so he pitches it. Ace-3 suited for Jason. He's got the dealer button. There's enough chips to play for, so he is going to call. I think we're going to have a 4-way pot coming up, unless Ivan does something extreme. Action on Ivan Leo to big blind. He's all in. Ivan Leo. So most players would just call here. I think he's found an opportunity to pick up like 100,000 chips just now, right now. This is tough to react to. He's shoving for about 30 big blinds, so the players behind him can't really call him too light. He's really only worried about Paul Foy, who's got 22 big blinds. King, Queen, this is not an easy call at all. His opponent could easily have like Ace, Queen, Ace, King, Ace, Jack. They all play this way.
And he has 2 people behind him as well.
Yeah, he has to think about that too. Someone could easily have slow played a big hand.
Yeah, especially because Paul only has 20 big blinds, so slow playing becomes pretty easy against those kind of stacks because there's a big chance you're going to get all the money in anyway. I mean, the thing that's going through his head here, oh, Ivan, it's Ivan.
Yeah, I think most players he would have folded already. It's just very annoying. He's playing the player right now. Sometimes Ivan does wake up with hands. He's thinking about how often does Ivan just shove here right now. He really wants to call, you can see it. So action on Paul Foy. He's used multiple shot clocks so far. Wow, he makes the call of King, Queen.
That is a really good call.
That's impressive.
Sixes.
Sixes.
No. What the animal? Oh my God! How sick are you guys? I had the best hand. What you got? I had Ace-3 of spades.
Wow.
Yeah, that almost worked. But Ivan still got 40%.
Yeah, let's not forget.
It's an easy call, right? No?
I mean, if he's got...
Me.
Yeah.
Easy call, is it?
I mean, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh, man. Oh, what a sweat.
11 out.
Here comes the river card for Paul. It's an 8. Paul's been eliminated.
Good luck, guys.
All right, Paul.
See ya.
Amen.
Monster.
He made a great call. But
Introduce you, my friend.
they're all just laughing.
Ivan, I'm Jason. I'd like to be your friend.
Wow.
Is this your food, Jason?
It's not my food. Did you get food?
No, it's not me.
No.
I bet it was Tim. I think he got moved, or he did get moved. He's
Line, please.
Ace 4-4. So sick.
yeah, I don't know where he is.
Small and big line, please.
Ivan living up to his reputation, eh?
Yeah. And this is a problem, you know, when somebody makes a move like that, it's really aggressive. That's a really, really good call from Paul. It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
And then you're up against 40%.
Most players would just fold that, just like, oh, I've got king high. It's about playing the players.
Into the 6 pocket 6.
Sometimes
I was like, this is going to be some magic.
you're never 100% in this game.
Yeah, now we see something that the rest of the table really doesn't like. Ivan with chips.
Ivan with chips is very scary.
Oh.
You just got discipline too.
No 6-4?
Oi!
Ow!
因為我點解我退咧？我個 stack 會去，你明白？如果係一個嘅話，謝振鋒唔會 call 嘅，你明白？你肯定嘅牌係你嘅牌係 call 唔 call 嘅，你明我講咩？所以點解我 switch 咗？我 switch 係有啲。如果係嘅 stack 嘅話，我可能唔會 switch。
但係差唔多啫你。
邊個？
差唔多
我都係10幾把啦。
係啦，爭少少啫你計。
Ivan's got ace jack suited.
36.
I mean, Davies is thinking about king 3 suited. He knows his opponent plays a lot of hands. He's going to call here in the small blind.
I love you.
Hello, Gabe.
What's up, man?
I respect that squaring off against Ivan out of position.
Yeah. He did outflop Ivan. Goes check, check. Ivan actually turns a really good pair. Bad news for him. I think for Davies, see your opponent check back to flop, you're going to think your king's good a lot. I think because he's seen Ivan be so aggressive, he's just trying to trap him.
Yeah, I think it's very reasonable to just trap him. Plus, if you bet, Ivan could open up the action, and you know what do you do if you bet on this turn and somebody like Ivan raises you and then puts pressure on the river? So I really like this. There's multiple benefits to it.
Yeah, we did see Ivan actually make a semi-bluff play on day 1 when he checked back the flop. So it's not unreasonable, like you say.
Oh, cool. Appreciate it.
Ivan definitely thinks he's got the best hand. He is betting for value. So action is on Davies. Try and decide, is there value in raising now? Should he just call?
100.
He's gonna check raise here for value. Definitely knew he was ahead. And this is pretty tricky, right?
Yeah, for sure. Davies has all these really good reads and hands that he checks and check raises. We saw him raise some middle pairs in position that were correct yesterday. I really like the way he plays. It's just another one of those guys that's solid, incredibly tough to play.
15 seconds.
So action is on Ivan. He's probably a little bit confused on why he's getting check raised all of a sudden. He knows that he doesn't represent a king that well, and that his opponent could put a lot of pressure, so that's why he's not giving up yet.
Yeah, he also bet really small.
This card is an 8. Doesn't really change much. So Davies needs to decide, should he bet for value against a jack, or should he check and try to get like 2 clubs to bluff at him? So action is on Davies.
I wonder what he's going to do here. If you put Ivan on a jack or 10s or queens.
Oh, actually, it looked like he did check, so go check, check.
Yeah, if he puts Ivan on a pair, he's going to bet. If he puts Ivan on something with clubs, or let's say, you know, ace 10, 10-8, that sort of thing, Ivan might rip it on the river. So
Yeah. Outer table action. So the board is king 5-3-2. 2 diamonds on the board. Looks like Jetton's got some cards in front of him, and Michael Soiza, from what I see. And Jetton's put a big bet out there. And action is on Soiza. He is the start of day 2 chip leader. Oh, that's a lot of chips. Oh, okay. Just gonna call here.
wow, we're just on the turn, and that's the spot is already. I mean, that was a 250,000 bet.
Okay, so the 8 of diamonds comes. The flush on the flop gets there. Both these players got a lot of chips. All right, so Jetton. So it looks like action's on Soiza. I think Jetton checked. Oh no, Jetton actually shoves all himself. Snap call. Can't feel too good about that.
That's a straight.
Wow. Top set.
Oh, wow.
Soiza turned the straight. Wow, Jen can't feel too good about that. Flops top set, loses to the wheel. Jen's been eliminated. So Soiza, massive chip leader.
Has to be.
Oh, that was huge. And even though the flush got there, he's like, he snap caught him so fast. Let's get back to our feature table here. We got Gabe Pogorski joining the table.
Nice. Always a very welcome face at the table.
Yeah, I like how we can get those outer table action too. We got extra cameras out there for you guys.
Yeah, especially because, you know, if Michael Soiza just joins the table later and he has a massive amount of chips and people are like, whoa, what happened? Well, now we know, you know, it really completes the narrative throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah, he just comes to the table. He's got like 5 million chips. I just found them.
Yeah.
Too small.
Well, they make cash games as big as you can go.
They make them.
They make them.
I didn't say anything.
Wow.
I'm his manager. Anything, just ask me, okay?
Okay. Talk to him. That's okay. Shh, I talk to him.
Raise. 35.
So Pogorski in the big blind. He's only got 20 big blinds. Imagine he's going to want to shove this all in.
出咗咯，再出邊。水仔依家打牌咁樣，係咁勁啊！
Oh, he raised.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, it's funny because usually most players just push all their chips out.
Yeah, he just randomly stomped in some 25Ks.
Okay. See how high I can get it.
If he throws chips at me, I'm keeping them.
That's the rules, right?
Right.
Although technically, I did just throw some chips at you, in a way.
That was scary, man. My hand sucked.
Well, play tighter. How about that?
I could have. It wouldn't have been too out of line for me to fold there.
Book says fold.
Nah.
If I wrote a book, it'd say fold that hand.
No, your book would definitely not say fold that hand.
Range 35.
No way.
I don't got a book. I can't even read.
So Davey's going to go ahead and defend a big blind with Jack 9 offsuit.
Okay. Okay.
So Jason Kuhn did raise under the gun. He might opt to bet to try to represent a big ace because he is raising from first position. Much more likely for him to have it.
30?
30.
Your Davies here, you got mid pair, backdoor heart draw, a smallish bet. Can't really fold if you're going to defend this hand, so he is going to continue. Got to feel good if you're Davies, because now you know you likely have the best hand. Check, check. So Davies needs to decide, should he value bet against an ace, against a hand like ace 8, ace 7. He can easily represent like some missed hard draws. If he decides to check, he's trying to represent him having a very weak pair and hoping his opponent bluff at it.
有70啦，70咯，呢度都50有啦，咁我一樣咯，我
He does check.
Check raise.
Davies very tricky.
Yeah, really mixes it up well. I think he was hoping that Kuhn would try and represent a hand like King Queen there.
He was 6.
Let's check. Looking to take you upstairs. Range 35.
So Ivan's got a pretty solid stack, going to try to open up here. Ace deuce. So both players flop an inside straight draw. Like, Ivan's got something in his eye. And just throws out 30,000 chips. Like, yeah, I'll throw something out. Jason Koon. Gonna call her 2 overs, inside straight draw. If you're gonna defend hands like Jack 7, you need to continue here.
Yeah.
Turn card is a 3. Pretty much a blank. Most players don't have a 3 in their hand. Jason Koon's thinking about leading here, and he is.
We saw something similar from Heckling yesterday. I really like this. It's a really good way to kind of fight off exactly the hand that Ivan Liao has.
Yeah, especially since players are continuation betting a lot. Like, say your opponent has like king, queen high. Is he really going to call you on a turn bet on 6-4, 3-3? Probably not. So this bet definitely freezes him and makes him play honestly. But Ivan's got ace deuce. He's got an inside straight draw. He does beat some hands like, you know, 5x, 7-8. Just like 7x, random hand. So actually he's not going to fold here ace high. What a great call. No, he raised. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He raised.
That's exactly what I mean. You know, it's I completely understand. You're just like, oh, okay, he's reaching for chips, so he's going to call. No.
Look, a call was already a great play. Now a raise.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't really cross my mind. And now Jason Koon, it's not even a big raise. It's just a 2.5x. Jason Koon now, Jack 7.
Also in good spirits always.
Looks like Ivan has found kind of a counter to these small leads when the board pairs. Wow, denies Jason Koon the equity. How amazing is that?
That was really good.
It's almost like these players have like thought of some counter strategies to Ivan. Ivan's like, no, this is a new tournament series. I got a new strategy for you guys. I'm ready.
And that's the cool thing. Like, if you're a very aggressive player, people are going to come up with strategies against you where they don't believe you and going to put much pressure. So then either you adjust and you start playing a little bit more tight, because then, you know, you still deceive your opponents and you're going to make some money. Or you have to become even more aggressive. And I think that's the road that Ivan Liao has chosen in his life.
10%.
So let's take a look at the outer table, the red table. There's Chun, he's going to lay his hand down. Wylong Chan. There's Ibinger. He is new to the Super High Roller Series, I believe, for Triton. Haven't seen him at the last 2 stops. Daniel DeVoris. He also was not at the last 2. The Triton in Montenegro.
Yeah, Matthias Ibinger, 5 million in live cashes. He won a Super High Roller in EPT end of last year, so he's on a really good run. Plays a lot of the high rollers live since about 2018.
Greenwood flops trip 10s. This is a limp pot. He's going to reach for chips. He knows that his opponent's going to think that he's going to stab a lot on this kind of board texture. So DeVoris just calls up queen 8 high. He's got a lot of back doors. Turns to 8. It's all about like floating a little bit with some back doors and hitting your pair and thinking you're good, but you're not. So Greenwood, when he sees his opponent check call to flop, it's going to often put him on like a 7, maybe 8-9 type hand. So I don't think he's going to want to check this back. Can easily get some value. 35,000. He doesn't want to bet too big because he wants hands like 7x not to hero fold. So action is on Dvoris. Gonna make the call here. Thinks he's got the best hand. Can't blame him when he turns a sneaky pair. River card's a jack. Pretty bad card for Dvoris because if his opponent was semi-bluffing with a 9, did get there. The 8 does have a good amount of showdown value. Does check. Now, does Greenwood want to bet with trip 10s here? He knows he can represent a bluff because it's a pretty scary board when it comes to Jack 10, 8, 7. Then again, he is a little bit worried about the 9. This is a blind versus blind battle, so he's probably aware that the small blind can have a very wide range, which is going to make him lean towards the value bet. 75,000. About half the pot. It's pretty tricky for Dvoris here because he's got middle pair. His hand actually looks like a 7. A 7 wouldn't actually be able to handle the heat on this board, so he might be tempted to make a call just because his hand looks so weak. I'm just touching some chips here. Using time bank chip. So Daniel Dvoris did use a time bank chip. Wow, all in.
Whoa.
That is a massive all in.
Count, please.
That is such a technical bluff.
Yeah. He's got a blocker to a full house. And the reason he knows that if he makes it, say, 200,000, if his opponent has a 9, he's going to call off no matter what. He's targeting, you know, some thin value bets like a 10, and he's trying to get 9s to fold. And you got to look, it's 75,000 to 664,000. That's like 9x. It's a big raise.
Imagine playing somebody who's willing to pull the trigger like this.
Yeah, this is what shows you high stakes action is like. They're all fighting for these pots. So Greenwood. The bad part though with 10-3 is sometimes Dvoris is going to do this with a 9 to bluff his Greenwood off of a chop. So imagine calling here and Dvoris just shows you a 9. Like,
yeah.
That'd be terrible.
This is insane pressure.
Yeah, Greenwood kind of wishes he checked back the river now. And man, if you're playing against such opponents, I could just rip it in like there. You know, maybe checking back the river was an okay play. Try to get that value. He was correct to try to get value out of an 8. But Dvoris is able to step it up and one-up him right now. One time bank chip in, 30 more seconds. This is a 40 big blind shove. It's a very tense moment. Yeah, he just got to lay this down.
What a move by Daniel Dvoris.
Welcome to Jeju, Dvoris. That's impressive play.
Yeah, that's really impressive. don't care about positional disadvantage. Here's an all-in.
Look, if you're going to play like kind of like weaker hands and you check call like queen high, you need to look for spots to bluff, or you're kind of burning chips slowly. That was really nice. Let's go out to the blue table. Davies and Jason Kuhn in a blind versus blind battle. These, blind versus blind battles are very interesting ever since people started to limp because the ranges are so wide now.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like this new dynamic. You saw a lot of raise or folds from a small blind a few years ago, and it's really turned into, you know what, I'm just going to call a lot. Also with strong hands, not to become predictable, and like you said, we just see all these really fierce battles.
Davies just kept checking. Now he's got outdrawn on the river. Likely going to try and check and get to showdown with fourth pair. You're Jason Kuhn, you river a pair. The question is, do you bet small for value, try and get a hero call from a little pair, or do you just bet big and try to represent the king, be very polarized? It's going to go for about 75% of the pot. The way the hand's been played out, it really does look like a king or nothing. I think Davies expects Kuhn to bet a jack or a 10 by the turn in position.
Go to Las Vegas. That's where I live. No, I just live there. I'm gonna not play poker. I'm gonna just chill out. Yeah. You ever go to Las Vegas? Not yet, but one day maybe.
I would love to see Ivan in Vegas.
Oh man. Strutting to Arya's room.
Oh, Davies makes a call. Nice value for Jason Kuhn.
Sure, 100%.
Ivan's like, wait, World Series only 1K buy-in? I'm not playing these events.
Yeah.
Where's the $1 million buy-in?
What's the main event? 10K. What?
Yeah, how small is that?
Oh, okay.
It's like, what a joke of a tournament.
Can I just buy into the final table? That's such a good point. On the next flight out.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what is the biggest tournament? What is the tournament here? Oh, we have the $1 million one drop. Cool. What's the second event?
Maybe you should quit then.
We have a mini one drop. What? Are you crazy?
Is there re-entry? What, you know?
Well, if you fire him and you need a new agent, I'm your guy. I'll be your USA agent.
So Pogorski in the cutoff, king, queen suited.
I know you know what I know. Can you say it for me? All in. Yeah. I was thinking about if I could memorize. I just.
How much you got left?
So that's like
3.
3 plus this.
I don't think I can fold this.
About 3K4.
I call.
So Cock is going to call with ace queen dominating Pogorski. Pogorski is at risk of king queen.
Slow roll, so slow. Fire him. Fire him right now.
Immediately.
All right, bad beat. Bad beat.
I try not to get into any hand, but this one is I have to.
Right, you have to gamble.
Check is so fucking
係啦，都係我唔會打而家，我唔會打，我驚死而家。咦 ，OK。
Pogorski is in big trouble here.
It's much heavier.
6%.
Oh,
King cards a jack.
short deck style. Bang it out in the river.
10. No 10. No!
Nice hand.
Good luck, guys. See you in the
Yeah,
next
good luck, man.
GG, Gabe. Good luck in that.
Thanks, man.
Hey, good spirits.
Thanks.
Just knock all those chips over.
My hand does bluff catching river.
All right, we'll see Pogorski in the $1 million short deck event, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just rolled 50-50.
佢再多啲我唔敢 call 添。
I actually had so much.
驚死㗎，小友驚死。
Here's Daniel DeVoris, ace-3 of clubs.
Please, this is not a break. We're just gonna break table 5 and play with recommends straight away.
Looks like they're breaking a table soon. All right, so Ibinger into big blind, Jack 7. Built a nice time bank tower.
Yeah. This guy's had an incredible 2018. One of the bigger winners.
He is going to make the call in the big blind.
352.
352. Thank you.
That's a pretty exact answer.
Yeah, you know what you're doing when you know exactly your chip count.
Yeah.
So Ibinger does have 5 million total live earnings. So a very small bet, almost a min bet, and takes it down. So we've got 18 players remaining. That means there's 3 tables. 1 table will be broken. It's going to be a very, very, very short break. Just as they combine the new tables. So I'm not sure if it's going to be I don't think it's going to be a redraw. I believe they're just going to fill up the empty seats with players. Just a reminder, first place, 1.45 million US dollars. That's 11 million Hong Kong. The min cash is top 9 players, 143,000.
Yeah, I like that the payouts are going to be a tiny bit, the bubble is a tiny bit smaller than in the short deck events. That's also because people in general use a little bit less bullets in no limit hold'em events. Just keeps getting bigger every event. I think last year was the same. We started from event number 1 and then event number 2 and on all had more than $1 million for first. And now the fields are even bigger. Like you said at the start of the broadcast, I think that most of the fields are 2 times the size already. And there's still more players coming in as well. And of course, we also have a $127,000 short deck event for you guys, event number 5. That's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we see some fan favorite faces like Tom Dwan in the event. That's when the buy-in gets really big, you know. That'll be nice to see. I personally would like to see Shanghai Wong. That's one of my favorite players. Yeah. I know there's a lot of big cash games going on, but hopefully they can take their time away from there to get on these tournaments. So we have 18 players remaining. The chip leader most likely is still Michael Soiza after he busted Jetton on that outer table, hitting that inside straight draw against top set. And Jetton actually had a ton of chips during that hand, so it wouldn't surprise me that Michael Soiza has over 2 million in chips.
I think so too. I mean, if Peter Jetton bet 250,000 on the turn with top set.
Yeah, he probably has at least 400, 500,000 for the river.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, there's already so much in the pot. Like, you're just not going to full pot that on the turn, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's like Greenwood's having some food. He was talking about the chicken last time. I think he was just having some chicken just now. He loves the chicken here.
What restaurant do they order that from?
I think they have a poker menu that's specifically for the players. So yeah, it's very nice. You know, one of the things that Triton Poker Super High Roller Series is really take care of the players. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That's really nice. Transfers is also possibilities if you bring somebody for activities, and it's all really well organized. You can get tours around the island and stuff. It's all organized from within the tournament direction.
Yeah, and they take player feedback really well. So we'll see you guys back in a second. Should be back on soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could just make a little announcement now that most of the players have arrived, finally. It's time just to give you a proper welcome here to Jeju. I think it's fair to say that we have a collection of the best players in the world here, almost to the extent where you feel sorry for the rest of the world.
Franklin D. Roosevelt once said that happiness is not in the mere possession of money. It lies in the joy of achievement, in the thrill of creative effort, and of course, hitting one-outers on the river.
Oh my gosh, 7.5 million pot. Biggest pot of the tournament.
Playing for $1.26 million.
A one-outer. You have 4% remaining going to the river.
That's incredible. Alright, here we are back. See, same feature table, really nice. Timothy Adams now rejoins the tables. He's down to 10 big blinds. He has some work to do. Looks like he's gonna have the big blind where he has to pay 2 big blinds at once. Of course, we're playing with a big blind ante. For people that are always wondering about that, seriously, the only thing that it does is speed up the game. How many live games have you been at where some guy at the table, sometimes it's, you know, yourself, just keeps forgetting the ante, just slows down the game, like 5 to 10 seconds every single hand. Just king ante, guys, ante. Now the big blind just antes, but it always feels like you have to pay a hefty sum when you get in a big blind as a short stack. But on average, the ante is still the same. In short-handed tournaments, though, it does make the ante a little bit bigger comparatively, because on a 9-handed table, if you want to see the average ante, you would divide it by 9. Of course, now we divide it by 6. So not only are there less players at the table, there's also more money out there to fight for. This looks like a very nice hand to go all in with for Timothy Adams, and he does do that. Yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen here.
Get that cushion back here.
Wait. I was almost trying to look past the person in front of the camera because I wanted to see what Ivan was going to do.
Chips back.
Yes.
Immediately over to some other action at the red table. Wei Chen is going to call the pre-flop raise from Chun. 25 big blinds deep. Ibinger here with a real hand. He only has 16 big blinds, so this is actually a perfect situation for him, but Chun is a monster.
Chun just tanking a little bit, try to induce some action behind him. Does shove. So Ibinger is at risk, 19% to stay in this tournament. So he doesn't get there yet. One more card to go. And Ibinger's eliminated. So didn't get to see too much of him, but I'm pretty sure he'll be playing the main event, which is a 250,000 USD buy-in.
Yeah, it does look like it. 25-year-old residing in Vienna, Austria. Are you even a German pro if you don't live in Vienna?
Yes.
Oh my god, not the slow nodding. This wasn't a geography question, no. I made a joke.
Cool.
Oh man. Too early.
So we should have 17 players remaining, I believe. Yeah. So there's Bay. Had a very swingy day one. He's definitely got more chips than he started day two with. Jason Kuhn. Queen Jack gonna open it up. Stanley Choi in the big blind, Queen 3 offsuit. It's a pretty small raise, so you can defend pretty wide.
Yeah, we've seen that Stanley really likes to defend his big blind, and rightfully so. You have a lot of money invested.
Where's the third card? There it is. So both players missed the flop. Really helps to be the aggressor in no limit hold'em, just because people don't hit the flop in any way very often. So Jason Kuhn is going to continuation bet here.
Yeah, some good turns for Queen Jack. You don't always want to waste ace high on a dry board because it can do so well at showdown, but with Queen Jack, most of the time you're just giving your opponent the opportunity to take away the pot from you on the turn.
Same hand, King 9. I thought you were full of shit, but I didn't have anything to play back at you. I was kind of full of shit too.
I fold. Man, I don't understand. Something felt weird to me. 10 with those 10 big blinds and
Spidey sense went off. You're Spider-Man around here, right?
I don't know where that name came from, but yeah, apparently I'm Spider-Man.
That's worse nickname to have.
So Davies pretty happy to take a flop here of ace-6 of diamonds against Ivan. These two have been battling a bit.
You have one red chip. All right.
So Ivan flops top pair. Davies has ace high and a backdoor flush draw.
Pretty hard to play on this board, especially because Ivan could be betting a lot with ace queen and ace jack, which takes away a lot of the possible ways for you to win the hand.
Been meaning to make it out there the past couple of years.
Ivan bets a third of the pot.
I'd like to come hang out for a week or so.
I think there's a chance Davies continues because he seems like he wants to play pots of Ivan and battle him.
I've added you in Facebook for
so he does call.
No way. I gotta show you why. I kid you not, I have like thousands and I just don't even look.
No, just kidding. I just added last night.
Oh, well, I'm gonna add you. I'm gonna add you for sure. But I'm glad you say this. I can show you.
Too famous.
No, I mean.
So Davies checks.
Doesn't stop.
Ivan going for more value.
Yeah, and this is kind of the problem when you play against Ivan out of position. He's just not slowing down that often.
You just start confirming people.
So Ivan picks up some extra chips there that some players would just fold the flop.
At you right away. Yeah, you buy premium plan package.
Premium plan package.
That's what I do.
So now you have a free tour guide if you come to Malaysia.
Okay. Huh? All right. Sounds good, man. Pick you up on it.
So Stanley Choi on dealer button, king 8 suited. Definitely a raising hand.
Great hand to open the action with. People would go much lighter than this, so.
So weak ace in the big blind for this price. And for the dealer button's gonna open so wide, you gotta defend. And Jason Kuhn agrees.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where you're happily defending. You're like, oh, okay, cool. I have a hand that's better than average, than I would defend.
So actually a pretty good flop for both players. Stanley Choi, of course, has the second nut flush draw on a paired board. That's unlikely to his opponent. And your Jason Kuhn here, if you don't flop an ace, this is a decent board to at least call a bet because the dealer button is going to raise hands like 10, 9, 7, 8 that are going to continuation bet here, and you beat those hands. So Stanley Choi trying to decide if he should bet or get tricky. I like the bet. Well, it's a very small bet too. On this board texture, you don't need to bet too big. Your opponent's not going to call you a 7 high anyways.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very easy to push out possible outs. And because then you bet small, you can also bet a lot more often, which is also great.
Yeah. For example, you bet small, hands like Jack 10, probably going to call now. But if you boot full pot, well, those hands are going to fold. But the ace actually improves Jason Kuhn. So Jason Kuhn definitely going to continue. Now Stanley Choi here, you bet the flop, you get called. Usually you don't like to see the ace because the big blind would never fold an ace to such a small bet. Then again, you do have the flush draw in case. Yeah, I like to check. I just think it's too hard to get your opponent to fold on this turn card. So it's a 9 on the river. Jason Kuhn needs to decide if he should value bet here. Probably doesn't put his opponent on a queen since he bet the flop and check back to turn. And reach for some chips.
I like this bet. It really looks like an underpair.
Calling. Call.
So yeah, actually at the outer table, Nick Pietrangelo up against Bryn Kenny here. Looks like Pietrangelo is at risk.
Both players have pretty good stacks too.
Wow.
2 kings versus ace king. Needs to dodge a 4 or an ace. Card to jack.
Oh, wow, that's a big pot for Kenny. Big setup there for Nick Pietrangelo.
Yeah, Bryn Kenny is having a great year. Did win the Aussie Millions this year.
Yeah.
Looks like Pietrangelo is eliminated. That would bring us down to 16 players.
6. 7. Yeah, good game. Feel like I said.
Wait, you supposed to cover? It's 7:45.
Oh, wait,
yeah,
wait,
it's just over though.
Yeah.
55, 6. I think you have 2,000 actually.
6, 7, 750, 770.
763 it is, right?
Yeah.
750, 765 this is, right? So you got 2 back.
Okay.
Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not
pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so Pietrangelo still has some chips. 2,000. There's some players with 2 million. He's in some trouble. Needle.
Yeah, but if he goes all, like, if you go all in, you can still win the full ante that the big blind put in. So from his 2,000, he could just go back to 50 on the first hand. So there is a comeback mechanic with the big blind ante.
Yeah, definitely true.
Stanley Choi here with trips and a straight draw. Bay gonna get rid of his ace high. So Bay's start to the day much better than yesterday's finish here. All in, Nick Pietrangelo.
So Soiza's got 2.3 million. Kenny's got 2 million in chips.
Wow.
So Soiza is the one betting. Pietrangelo is at risk.
Oh.
Kenny's making a call. So we got a side pot going in here. 244,000 on the side. So it's 8-6-3 jack.
Check.
So because the main pot is so small, they could actually be bluffing with high cards, trying to win that side pot. Action on Soiza.
Thanks.
사이즈 8. 방금 거 배탄 거로 15만, 17만.
All right, let's see. So Soiza's got pocket tens. Pietrangelo got king 5 offsuit.
Oh, so close.
And he's eliminated.
Good game.
So Soiza is likely the chip leader of the tournament.
Disaster. Yeah. Absolute disaster. That's so sick. Yeah, you just get 14 to 1 compared to.
It's good to see Petrangelo here for Triton Super High Roller Series. I mean, he did not come to Montenegro or Jeju last time. Likely will be playing the main event, which is a 250,000 USD buy-in.
Yeah, while you're here.
So look at these hands. Bay's got inside straight draw. Kuhn calls with a weak pair and a straight draw, and Kuhn's got the best hand. Bay's reaching for chips here.
Yeah, this guy loves to fire.
75,000. This would be a very good call. It's very tough.
Yeah, there's so many things that beat you.
Chips for me, I don't think.
Doesn't look like Kuhn likes it.
It's high line.
Nice bluff from Bay.
Good bluff.
Straight.
I told you. You need some chip just now.
I had a pretty bad
Give me a
hand.
signal.
You gave him the signal.
You did give me the signal.
I give you a signal.
All right, so outer table action again. Hecklin all in. Action is on Lang Shu.
Call.
Going to make the call on the dealer button.
227. 200.
So I come one for 10 big blinds here.
227.
No, it's full. Don't worry,
Oh,
forget
I'm
about
sorry.
it. We got it covered.
So Lang Shu looks like he's got
Aces.
pocket aces. Hecklin's got king queen suited. Here comes the flop.
It's not a fair battle. It is now.
Flop's a king, so he needs a king or a queen to stay in this tournament. No player has a club. Good game to Hecklin.
Yeah, Blue's not a really good player.
So this table has a lot of chips. Lang Shu's got about 2 million. Bryn Kenny's got 2 million. Soiz has got 2.3 million. Yep. There's Robert Flink at the table as well.
Doesn't look like you have many chips left.
Look at that tower.
Wow.
So we are losing players left and right.
You really want chips, huh?
Jason Kuhn all in of pocket queens.
I wish you had.
Oh man, what do you do here? Davies 31 big blinds.
And that's why this all-in is so good. You have to do this sometimes with pocket queens, even though it is big. But this way your opponents aren't going to suspect that you just always have a low pair, because then Davies could just always call. So really, really good from Kuhn.
Yeah, Davies knows that Kuhn can do this with big hands. He also knows he can do this hands like pocket nines, ace-jack. Probably wasn't expecting to play such a huge pot of ace-queen right now. But he's going to make the call.
Wow.
Jason Kuhn, pocket queens.
First tournament live.
Great.
Not ace to ace. Okay,
Not
that's
ace,
it.
ace.
I have an ace.
You had one too?
Stop. Stop.
I
If ace hits, I'm going to be so daggered, bro.
Ivan's probably lying.
I'm scarred with queens at this table.
Ivan loves this.
Yesterday, no, I have queens.
You
But yesterday, queens, very big pot, didn't go my direction.
Yeah, he got knocked out. From
2 aces left in the deck.
I think I'm supposed to call this one.
Yes, the chop. Easy.
Tight position.
The turn card. It's a 4.
All right.
Oh,
There it is.
Jason Kuhn
Okay,
doubles
you're
up
better than
to
him.
1.35 million.
Much better, huh?
Yeah, Davies down to 18 big blinds.
No, I folded a 9. I folded a 9 against this
Yeah,
guy.
so I don't think so. You play better than
Had to move.
I also had a 7. I didn't think you had 6, 7.
Which one? Oh, yeah, yeah. 9-7.
Yes.
Where'd you get?
All right, so Stanley Choi's getting moved to outer table.
Yeah, I thought it might just be tight enough with low jack, high jack cutoff.
Davies going to be a short stack after that call.
Wow, all the chip lead this year. Come on.
Yeah, but you have 8s or ace-jack suited.
Guess we know what Stanley Choi found at the outer tables. Chip leaders.
It's stupid, man. No, you mean? You don't want to
I mean, that table alone has 6 million chips on 3 players.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had to play some
So
nasty,
stupid,
nasty
yeah,
pots
all the
against-
time. Like high equity, nasty.
Yeah, we've fucking had to battle so much in high equity spots. It's been whack.
Ben and I too.
Yeah.
For years, yeah. It just happens. Play the same 40-man mega buy-in tournaments.
Yeah.
Fold. All right, spin it up, man.
Yeah, not dead yet. 320. 25.
Bay's open up 5 deuce suited. He's like, I've got over 1 million chips again. I'm back to where I'm comfortable. Ivan Leo, Jack 8 in the muck. You know, No Limit Hold'em's one of those games where you can get away playing not so strong hands because your opponent misses the flop so often. Whereas in short deck, playing really bad hands just isn't that great of a strategy.
Yeah, it's much harder to bluff after the flop.
Davies defending big blind, flops middle pair.
These guys had some big battles at the end of yesterday. Bay definitely came out short there.
Bets the flop. You just got 5 high. You have to bet the flops because if you aren't going to try to win it post flop, then you shouldn't be raising pre flop. So that's why he's betting. Davies going to call here middle pair.
Seven for action.
Turn card is a 9. Actually a bad card for Davies' hand. Bay's reaching for more chips.
Bay is so fearless.
Wow.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anything.
No. Even his gut shot is still a very weak straight.
There's also a board texture where the big blind actually has a piece that can continue a lot, like 8-7, 6-7, you know, 10-9. I can name a lot of hands.
Yeah.
But Davies actually has the hand that's very hard for him to continue. If Davies can make this call, this would be quite impressive. Because he loses to so many hands and has so low equity. He does fold, so Bay.
Nice move.
Hmm?
Yeah. Bay's like, he's a big stack player.
冇停過。
Yeah.
啊，都係
Live
開
by
緊
the
波。
sword, die by the sword for Bay.
Wow, Jason Kuhn vaults to the top. He was a short stack at one point. 1.35 million in chips.
I think this is also one of those situations where, you know, we talked about yesterday where you have a lot of chips and all of a sudden Michael Soiza could join the table. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What is this? But so far, so good for him.
Dave, looks like Timothy Adams looks like he's having a swingy day. He ended the day pretty all right, but he's only got 10 big blinds now.
It's on me.
Thank you very much.
Respect.
How now you know how to respect a wood.
How big is the bag?
Small, 40.
Just to give you guys a little update on the outer table here, we have seat 1, Robert Flink, Swedish player. He's just a little below average on about 600k, fine for now. Seat 2, we have Michael Souza, who I believe is the tournament chip leader on about 2.5 or just over. He's sporting a broken arm, apparently broke it snowboarding in 5 places, so looks like his luck's changing though, nice to see. And then we have Stanley Choi, who we've just had us join us from your feature table. And next to him is Xu Liang. He's one of the big stacks on about 2.2 million after knocking out Henrik Hecklin. And then, of course, to his left, we have Bryn Kenny. And the story out here is Bryn Kenny is on the charge. He all but knocked out Petrangelo with kings against ace-king. All went in on a queen-high flop. And, yeah, looks like Bryn is on the charge. Possibly another final table for Mr. Kenny.
Thank you, Pete, for the update there. Just a little recap for you guys, just to show you where all those stacks came from.
Yeah, we currently have 3 tables, 15 players remaining. So 3 more bust outs and we'll have 2 tables remaining.
It's definitely loose, but like super loose. Probably a really good exploit. Yeah. Hey, fine.
So top 9 will make the money today.
Teemo. I was telling stories yesterday. People didn't know that you and I have been homies for like a decade.
Yeah. Been around for a
It's
while.
pretty weird.
Still look like you're about 20
Yeah, he still
years
looks
old.
like he's 22 years old.
So do you.
No, I don't think so.
Get rid of the beard.
Yeah,
Got
if
the
I
beard.
shave the beard, I do.
Yeah,
look
you got
like
you got a
lot.
young face.
Yeah, I got some, I guess some baby face skin. Learned my lesson. No more bluffs.
He's actually being serious because it's a hand that Jason would normally consider opening.
Yeah, you gotta respect your opponents who are. These 2 guys are very aggressive. So they're the type that's gonna 3-bet you with some garbage hands, and you're gonna fold Jack-7 anyways.
Yeah.
Ivan's got one of the worst hands in poker, 3-2 offsuit, and he's thinking about it. I feel like he's got this radar. The worse my hand is, the more he wants to do something. Lays it down.
Yeah, true fighting spirit.
Yeah, Wang's got 1.2 million.
So Bay on the button here. Davies gonna go for its last 12 big blinds. Great all in there with 10-9 suited. Lots of money out there. Also, this hand is 40% against hands like ace-queen and ace-king, so even if you get called, there's some advantageous situations. Close to flipping against ace-8, so great hand to make a steal with pre-flop.
just a boil to put the bounds, because they still, yeah. Okay.
So Wai Long Chan 3-betting king queen suited, Chun with pocket fives. Pretty tempting to try and see a flop and hit a set.
Yeah, it's not the biggest 3-bet here, so he has pretty good odds.
Yeah, so he is going to make the call. It's a coin flip.
Okay.
Oh,
wow.
Your Wai Long Chan, your 3-betting king queen. This is the flop you want. There's a lot of hands he can get value from, like 10 jack, king jack, ace jack. So he's going to start betting 130,000.
130.
Your Chun here, you're sitting bottom set. Your opponent's 3-bet you. You c-bet the flop. Your opponent likely has big cards. And just a good flop for big cards. So that's why he's reaching for raising chips, looks like. So he is going to raise it here. 325,000. It's got to be a bit annoying because you don't expect to get check raised too often.
Yeah, this goes from seeing the flop thinking nice, and then you get check raised, you're like, what?
Yeah. So Wai Long Chan trying to figure out what kind of hands Chun. He does shove all in, going to get snap called. He's in big trouble.
Yeah, that's bad.
He's only got 5%. Needs to hit like a running straight, running full house. Card is a queen. I mean, it does give Chun a full house, but this is bad because Wai Long Chan now has 16% to get there.
Yeah.
Card to 6.
What a turn.
Chan becomes a short stack, about 300,000 chips remaining. Wow, Chun's been doing pretty decent in all these events. 1.7 million chips. Playing some really solid poker.
Yeah, I think it's also when, you know, when you get to a new scene and you don't know much about the Asian scene, or it's one of your first tournaments there, and you see all these guys that are super aggressive and have all these tendencies to put so much pressure, and then Chun has a much different style. That can be, you know, you need to kind of calibrate that for each one in individually. So I think that really works
just
for him.
Slapped him. These guys play with each other a lot. Greenwood's been eating that soup for like hours. It's got every single piece of meat, every bone. Look at that bowl of bones. Confirms the food is good here. The blinds are up. 10,000, 25,000. So Wai Long Chan's going to be sitting on 12 big blinds.
One thing that I really like about the big blind ante as well is that you no longer need any of the small chips for very long. It's they become obsolete much quicker.
And my favorite thing is, you know that one annoying guy that always forgets to put his ante in because he's always on his phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's eliminated.
Oh, because you never space out, right?
Yeah, it's usually me.
Yeah. you're always sharp and present.
So Chidwick, he actually had a pretty short stack, I believe, starting this day. He started today with 261,000. He's 3x his stack. Greenwood actually started with 929,000, so he's got 50% of his stack. Looks like Greenwood's going to defend an 8-4 offsuit. I mean, Greenwood definitely defends his big blind very wide. He's a very strong post-flop player. Outflops Chidwick.
Very curious to see if Greenwood's going to check raise the spot or check call it. They're not super deep. Oh wow, actually Greenwood is yeah, it's gotten a lot shorter.
Actually, wouldn't surprise me if Greenwood check raises the flop.
Yeah,
I know he does want to do that play a lot.
Yeah, it really protects you from overpairs. Sometimes if you get your call by ace highs, but it's really important. Look at his stack. He has 413,000, and there's 135 in the middle, plus a possible bet from Chidwick there.
Yeah, Chidwick is actually going to check it back. Thinks he's got enough showdown value. Turns to queen. So now you're Greenwood.
That's the first thing we should have.
Let's take a look at his all-in first, because Davey is in huge trouble.
I actually do. Maybe it's because I've been playing too much short deck, but I feel like he's at least going to get a sweat here.
Jason Kuhn with the sweats.
Yeah, me too. There's some cards for sure. There's many cards.
We're still playing short deck.
Feeling the old A to D here.
The A to D. Oh, the Jack of D.
She's some chop outs.
That's true as well, yeah.
Good luck, guys.
All right, so Davies is eliminated. He played pretty good.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
well.
someone's got a bust.
Yeah, really love to see him in the next events. Very good player. And back to that pot that we were showing you guys. So it looks like Steven Chidwick has bet this time in position. Greenwood going to come along for the call with his 4.
Yeah, it is the delayed bet. So Greenwood, he knows that his opponent can have a lot of draws like 10-Jack, King-Jack, King-10. Especially if he's checking back King-Queen, he can have those hands. 2 diamonds. He's only got 11% though. Greenwood is going to call. It's only got 12 big blinds remaining.
Wow.
2 pair.
2 pair.
You know, it's a good feeling when you're not sure and then you get there, you're like, okay, I feel good now. So Chidwick here, I think he's going to go for maximum value from his eyes. He just thinks that too likely Greenwood has a hand like 10-9, Jack-9, Ace-9, King-9 that is going to be in a position to potentially call.
Yeah, for sure.
Chidwick can represent a lot of bluffs like King-10, King-Jack, 2 diamonds. That's all the chips. Snap call. Gonna get the bad news. Yeah, Chidwick's just like, huh.
98.
Some revenge for Greenwood after Chidwick hitting that straight against him in a massive short deck pot earlier this week.
Oh yeah. So Chidwick down to 450,000. Greenwood back to what he started day 2 with.
No.
Post flop is so important in these super high roller series because these players defend their big blind so wide. If you don't know how to play post flop, you're gonna have a lot of trouble if you enter these tournaments.
Yeah. We're getting much closer now to the bubble.
How now you know how to expect a boom.
Only 14 players left, and min cash, of course, still a massive $143,000.
Yeah, that's for the top 9 players, so 5 away from the money. 9-3 offsuit. Free flop. So both players pick up an inside straight draw. Turn card is the jack.
I love that response yesterday from when Jason said, nice hat.
Yeah.
Sam, and he just went, it's a little tight.
All right, so Choon's going to go ahead and stab here. Just has 9 high, inside straight draw. Greenwood, queen 8. He's got equity to hit a straight. The high card is good sometimes. Makes the call. He beats hands like 10-8, 10-9, queen high, so I like the call. Choon gets there with the pair of 9s. Check, check. Oh,
Yeah.
Almost the wrong way.